Hello, everyone. Welcome to this discussion today. We're going to talk about the agents of digital pedagogy training. And my name is Agnes Muhere. I'm a digital consultant and learning facilitator. And on the call, I have my colleagues, Haman and Zua. I would like to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves before you, then we continue the discussion. Let's start with Haman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this discussion. Amanias is my name, and I'm here to enjoy the discussion as we continue. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Zua, and I'm digital consultant.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. I'm happy to have you on the call. So we're going to begin with the discussion. So as we begin the discussion, I'd like to first understand the keyword, that is digital pedagogy. Someone, we can share that, and what do you understand by the term digital pedagogy, so that our audiences get to understand what we are talking about.
According to me, digital pedagogy means, these are two terms, whereby digital means, according to me, these are new ways, computerized technological. Then pedagogy is a way of teaching. So when you combine the two, digital pedagogy, it means that way of teaching this is you have to use digital means to teach. So that's how I understand digital pedagogy, teaching in a digital way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Haman. Zua, as a learning facilitator, how would you best define digital pedagogy to your learners in the simplest way so that they understand better?
Okay, on my side, I describe it as these are methodology used to in this new era of digital. So they are basically methods of teaching.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. So as you've heard from the consultants, the learning facilitators, I would sum it by saying that with digital pedagogy, we're looking at the tools and platforms you can use in teaching and learning. Okay, so hope that is clear. We can continue with our discussion. And our discussion, we pick the lessons from a unit on your digital learning network. You can visit the site and you'll be able to read more on it. I'll provide the link. Okay, so we're going to discuss the lessons from that unit, the agents of digital pedagogy training. Okay, so when you read more about this topic, you understand that there is a need to move from teacher to learner-centered education approach. And this will help to improve creativity and engagement. That instead of focusing on what you're going to deliver to your learners, instead the focus is put on the learners themselves. How will they understand better? Which methods can I use as a facilitator to make them understand better? And which tools will best help them understand the topic? And like, we look at these agents because in the pandemic, as we looked, we realized that most schools closed up. Teachers would not reach their learners because of the social distance. So this brought about like challenges with continuous learning. So teachers were faced with challenges. How can I deliver class to my learners? So if you have this kind of approach that is learner-centered, you get the best tools, the platforms you can use, so that you ensure that your learners keep engaged and they're also learning. Okay, so it's also creating, improving creativity of your learners, that instead of being just mere consumers of your content, they're going to engage with the content, they're going to start creating, innovating, because they're prompted to create content. They're not just only content consumers. So if any of my colleagues want to throw more light on this, give them a chance. Herman as well, is there anything you want to add on this and the learner-centered approach?
Me, I would say that with learner-centered students, they get a chance to interact or to initiate the learning, so that there is that interactivity between the teacher and the child, unlike the previous methods of teaching, whereby it's the teacher to initiate whatever is going to be learned in the class. Here is the student taking the driving seat.
Okay, thank you, Zua. That's really a key point to note. Students are able to initiate learning. It's not that they wait on the teacher to start the class. They can also start on the class. They can decide where to start from, which topic they want to discuss or to learn that day. Okay, Herman, do you have anything to add?
What I can add on is that
Sorry, Herman.
online. Can you hear me?
Yes, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, what I can add on is that digital pedagogy gives you different options whereby you can teach your learners online, you can teach them on hybrid, or you can decide to teach them face-to-face. So it depends on the environment you are in. If you are not able to reach them face-to-face, you can use online options, or you can use hybrid. You don't need to be in the same environment with your learners. That is the good thing with digital pedagogy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we can continue with other lessons of digital pedagogy. And with digital pedagogy, we have another lesson that facilitators need to develop a positive attitude towards digital pedagogy. That as we discuss about the urgency of digital pedagogy, we need to ensure that there is a mindset change, that teachers, lecturers, any learning facilitator needs to embrace these kinds of teaching, and this is through creating a positive mindset. So with digital pedagogy, facilitators will be able to easily adapt to the different tools and platforms, because they're being trained and they're helping them to understand better how to use these platforms. So we've had scenarios, some of us who have been interfacing with learning facilitators through digital pedagogy training. Some teachers are afraid that these tools are going to replace them, that if they adopt to, for example, online teaching, leaving the class to be learner-centered, they're afraid that maybe their role in the education will cease to, they will cease to have a role in the education sector. We've seen with technology, is not to replace them, the teacher, but aid learning. So through digital pedagogy training, a teacher is able to understand that technology is not going to replace them, but rather it's going to ease their work as facilitators. So Herman, you've been in several digital pedagogy trainings. So can you share your experience with some of these peers? How have you been able to create a positive mindset to some of these facilitators? And what was their fear about the digital pedagogy approach?
Mostly the fear comes from the fact that these teachers think that since everything will be online, learners can access content online. So they think that they will remain jobless or technology will take them over, which is not actually right. Because even before this digital era, content have been there in form of textbooks, but teachers remain remain the central part in teaching. So you have to tell them that although digital is there, although different tools are there, teachers will always remain the drivers of learning. Because without teachers, these learners cannot understand this content well. It's always they always need that explanation from these teachers. So we always tell them that so that they embrace the digital skills, digital learning, digital tools. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Herman. So you talked about a point of telling them that they still have a key role. Yes, teachers still have a key role, and you see some of the roles they have is to guide. They need to be there to guide these learners on what should be done, on the best tools to choose, on best ways to understand the content. They're also fostering learning. Like they're using these tools to deliver classes. So teachers are still important in this call for digital pedagogy. And this can easily be achieved through digital pedagogy training. Zoe, do you have anything to add? Yes, Herman?
Agnes, to add on, also remember in this digital pedagogy, remember teachers give learners assignments, tests, exams. So it is the teachers to mark these assignments and award these learners the marks. So all these roles remain to them. So they should just embrace digital pedagogy instead of being worried about digital taking over or replacing them.
Thank you, Herman, for that submission. Zoe, do you have anything to add on this point?
Just like you mentioned, it's all about mindset change. Once the mindset is shaped, everything can flow well, but still there is also a fear from teachers of using some of these gadgets. Some of them, they don't embrace the skills of using computers, using some of these tools. They look at them as like something which is going to challenge them, just that they don't have that skill to use the tools. So once the trainings are done and all teachers are in position to operate and use these tools well, automatically everything is going to flow.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Let's move on to another lesson that should be a bit put into consideration, and that is a need for proper strategy. That when you're going to integrate digital pedagogy in your learning system, teaching and learning system, you need a proper strategy. You need to ascertain what tools, platforms you'd use in your learning and teaching. Because if you don't have a strategy, it's going to be challenging. You reach the middle and then things are going to be difficult for you. But with a proper strategy, everything will be flowing well. So this strategy should be focused on the SMART principle, that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That you need to create a strategy that is going to achieve all this. It has to be specific, it has to be measurable, that after time, will I be able to analyze its impact on my what? On my teaching and learning, and achievable. Is it something you can do in that time you have with the resources you have? is it something really you can take up as a school or as an individual? Then relevant. Will it help your learners? How will it help your learners? Because first we looked at learner-centered, so everything has to be focused on the learners. How will it help my learners understand better? Then time-bound. It needs to have a time frame that I'm going to use this method for this kind, maybe for the first semester, I'll be using these tools and platforms to aid my teaching. So why choosing the right tool is important. The focus is whether the learner will understand better. So that's what we've already talked about. And when and how they will be used, expected outcomes of the initiative, all that needs to be considered when you're setting up the strategy for your digital pedagogy. And these teachers and other facilitators can be guided on how to do proper strategies through digital pedagogy trainings, because some of it may be a new concept on how to develop a strategy for these tools and platforms, but through training and retooling and skilling, teachers can best adapt to this kind of learning and teaching. Okay, colleagues, feel free to raise your hand up in case you need to add something. Okay, we can continue. So after developing a strategy, and then you with, let me share my screen. Clicked on stop sharing by mistake. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we look at the advancement in technology that it has really helped in aiding digital pedagogy. That there is a lot of technologies that have been developed to aid teaching and learning. And this has improved on the creation and access to content, especially through multimedia. Like a learner can be able to create or even access content that is in video, audio, text, images, any format through technologies like on a mobile phone, on an iPad, on a desktop computer. All this has been aided by the advancement in technology. And we have like content is now very accessible. And some of the tools and platforms are accessible. Some of them are free. Some of them are mobile, like you can use a mobile phone to create and consume. And others are desktop. So you have variety to choose from. You have numerous options for you to create a better learning experience for your students. Also, teachers can create interactive content and learners will be able to consume it with an iPad, with a mobile phone. Instead of just delivering text only, you can have some games therein, you can have like interactive content that learners can easily engage with. Haman, do you have anything to add on this? How technologies is aiding digital learning and teaching?
Not at all. You can continue.
Okay,
I think everything is clear.
Okay. So with digital pedagogy training, teachers and other facilitators will be enticed to adopt to kind of what technology. But if we don't them, if we don't train them, they may be left in the dark. They may not know which best suitable tools to use for their teaching. And what does this mean? All the discussion we had, the facilitators need to adopt to stay relevant. Like the world is moving. You see, learners now can access the content, even if you don't provide it to them, they're very tech savvy and they'll be able to access it from other platforms. Other facilitators have adopted to this. In the COVID pandemic, as some of us were struggling to reach our learners, some learners were not studying. Others, like the likes of Kampala parents, were able to continue with their teaching and learning because they were knowledgeable, they were skilled in this kind of education approach. So all facilitators need to adopt to stay relevant, to keep up with the trends. Digital pedagogy is a now thing, it's not a future thing. We shouldn't look at it as something that will happen in the future or in the next century. It's now and it is very urgent. We need it if we need to have a better education and offering a better teaching and learning experience. Okay, Haman and Ziwa, one word or like concluding remarks for our session as we close. Last word,
Thanks.
audience.
My last remarks would be that digital pedagogy is effective in supporting, enhancing, and transforming the process of teaching and learning. And as a result, it provides enriched and flexible learning opportunities for the learners. So I encourage teachers to adopt digital pedagogy to make this possible. Thank you.
Yes, Christopher.
Yes, my last word is the more we have been learning away from technology, the more technology has been there to look for us, and indeed it has found us in the corner whereby we can no longer run away from it. So teachers and facilitators, surely there is a need to adopt. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. So we are ending our session. That's what we had to discuss today. But different stakeholders should also come up with different initiatives, different policies to support digital pedagogy training for countries, especially like Uganda, that are just adopting, are learning to adopt to this kind of learning. They will need some support. They will need facilitation for such trainings to happen. So the government can come up with some policies, and other stakeholders like NGOs can also initiate trainings that different facilitators can join for them to be educated and trained about digital pedagogy. So YACA offers this kind of learning, and also Outment Media Consult offers digital pedagogy trainings to teachers and other facilitators. You can check out the digital pedagogy course on the yaka.cc platform for you to understand better about digital pedagogy. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time and watching. We wish you the best. Until next time, bye.